Hi there, welcome back to Traveling Cat Photos. I'm Kat.
I'm Harry, the lazy wanderer.
We're here today at Glacier National Park in Montana.
It's a great place to visit. It's beautiful. We've not been able to explore very far into the park. They've closed the park 12 miles in at Lake McDonald at the Sun Road, so you can't drive in any further than that. You can bike, however, and hike, but you can't do that.
After the end of June, you'll be able to drive going to the Sun Road, but right now you just make it to the lodge, but you do have this view. So let us show you what we found today.
We started out really early, wanting to make the most of our long day. Saw the first train and the first animal bridge we've ever seen before arriving at our first stop. I'm always searching for the unusual, the weird, and the wonderful. And this place is definitely wonderful. You wouldn't think you'd find 1,000 Buddhas in the middle of Montana, but under the big sky, they are stunning. The Garden of 1,000 Buddhas begins with the path, which starts at the parking lot, and is an easy stroll. The first stop is the 8 stupas. The stupas represent 8 specific events in Buddha Shakyamuni's life. The placing of offerings, whether that's a coin or other token, is common and encouraged. If you need more accessibility, there is a disabled parking lot closer to the Buddhas.
Offerings left.
The garden represents the 3 vehicles of Buddhism: the root, the great, and the diamond vehicles. The first is represented in the 5 big stones placed in the northeast of the garden. Then the 8 spokes of the Dharma wheel represents the 8-fold path that leads to enlightenment. And finally, the lake represents the teachings of the 4 paths to enlightenment. The garden doesn't just have 1,000 Buddhas. 1,000 stupas make up the outside of the Dharma wheel, and there are 1,000 trees and plants that adorn the gardens. In each stupa is placed an image of Tara, a Buddha who vowed to always appear in female form in order to benefit beings to alleviate suffering and fear. The map, which is filled with in-depth information about the religion and the gardens, is available in a few locations, so you can continue learning about what you are seeing. As a photographer, the beauty of the place is what drew me there, but we were both moved and charmed by the teachings etched in the rocks, the grace of the Buddhas, and how welcoming the gardens are to everyone. Anyone who wants to add to the prayer flags with their own are welcome to do so. There is no exclusion. Everyone is welcome.
From the prayer flags on the hill to the Buddhas, the quotes by Buddha, little shrines all the way into the center. It's just a really beautiful place.
There are options to donate in several places, so that is how we chose to give back since we were too early to visit the gift shop. By the time we visit again, there will be the addition of a larger gift shop, cabins for retreats, and a new refreshment center.
The heart wheels, which is the center section, are all in different languages. It's very inclusive to the whole world. And the swallows make their home here.
We spent over an hour just walking the circle and enjoying the peaceful morning.
It really is just so beautiful and serene here. What a perfect way to spend our Sunday morning. Offerings of all types are left on the Buddhas. So the Garden of 1,000 Buddhas is so beautiful and so serene. It is super easy to get to, right off of the 93 on your way to Glacier National Park. It is free. It will take you a bit because you walk all the way around that circle before you go into the center, but it is completely worth it. There are beautiful views from every way, and there is a certain, I don't know, vibe, peaceful, serene. It was a perfect way for us to start our Sunday morning.
The birds were a wonderful bonus. I love swallows, and watching them swoop in and out of their nest, using the mud to build with, and adding their chirps to the music of the morning was another layer of magic. We continued north to Glacier National Park with the views of the Mission Mountains adding to the beauty of the amazing Montana landscape. We saw several places we want to return to, but we finally had to stop and take in a few moments to really enjoy this view. Flathead Lake is the largest natural freshwater lake west of the Mississippi in the lower 48 and has 185 miles of shoreline. There are 2 routes up to Glacier, and we chose to follow the western edge of this lake. It weaves its way through several small towns where you can hang out, enjoy the lake activities on your way to National Park. It's not far past the lake that you take a right onto the 2 and are close to the park entrance. It gave me chills to finally be making the left and drive under that iconic overpass that we've seen in so many photos and videos. And to finally take our selfie at the park sign. We used our National Parks Pass to enter and made our way to the Apgar Visitor Center. Bought some souvenirs, got our stamp for our book, and then headed to the lodge. I simply love the vintage red buses. They are so elegant. Time to head into the lodge. During the winter of 1913, John Lewis had the new Lewis Hotel built on the site of the old Snyder Hotel. It was decorated as a hunting lodge and was a gathering point where artist Charlie Russell could sometimes be found telling stories in this lobby. In 1930, Lewis sold the property and it was renamed the Lake McDonald Lodge. While the many details of inside are gorgeous, it is really the view out that back door that steals the scene. The views of the lake from the back porch are just stunningly beautiful. There are several paths down to the water, either to the boat dock or to one of the many seating areas, but the sound of the water drew me like a magnet. In spring, the water coming down from the snowmelt fills the streams heading down into the lake, and it was here I first saw the colored rocks that the lake is so famous for. While it would be wonderful to stay at the lodge, it is still just lovely to walk the pathways and enjoy the water views. On the way back around to the front, we discovered this totem pole, as well as information on the red buses, including the fact that they were made by the White Motor Company and restored in 2002. We drove south looking for the perfect place to pull out and have our picnic lunch. The we need a view but not sitting in the sun place. Not only did we find it, but it was with a gorgeous lake view on our right and a waterfall on our left. And yes, more of those colorful rocks, as well as super tall trees. The perfect place for our picnic. We knew before coming up that we wouldn't be able to do the going to the sun road, but we wanted to see what we could since we were so close. So I did some research and found that we could find a great lake view at the Apgar Amphitheater.
At the Apgar Amphitheater? So they do presentation every night. Don't know really what that presentation is, but it says it's nightly.
So one of the super cool things about Glacier National Park is the multicolored rocks. Pretty cool, right? Especially when that's your view.
The rocks here are primarily agrolite, and the colors are determined by how little iron is in each stone. This was such a bucket list moment for me, to be standing at the edge of the water with those stones beneath my toes and this as my view. Glacier became our 10th national park in 1910 in order to protect its 1 million acres of unique mineral formations and beauty.
To show you how close the amphitheater is to the lake and that incredible view, there it is. How beautiful.
One of the parts of this trip that I so enjoyed was the different types of forest we discovered. I'd never heard of larch pine before we visited Glacier. Weird, wonderful, and definitely beautiful. Making our way around the Apgar Loop on our way out of the park, we discovered that there are many places to stay, including cabins and lodges, and lots of different places to eat and shop. Or maybe you just need to rent a kayak. There are a few campgrounds, mainly for tent camping or very small RVs, but there is at least one that can handle RVs up to 35 feet. We'll have to come back and stay for a while and really explore this area after the Sun Road is open for the season. For us, it was time to head to Coeur d'Alene for the night. We crossed over the Flathead River and were stunned by the color. As we made our way west, where the Flathead meets up with the Clark Fork, we just couldn't ignore the view a moment longer and had to stop to enjoy the river. And here he was, once again, wishing he had time to fish. And where there are fish, there are eagles. I've been looking for eagles for days, just wanting to capture one on film. I was happy I had a telephoto lens for these two, but only about 3 minutes down the road, this one flew into a tree right in front of us and seemed okay with a short photo session. I was breathless. Talk about a bucket list moment. I was still giddy as we said hello to Idaho again and discovered the Cataldo Mission. We were there too late to tour, but it's now on our list of what to come back to see. And we thought only California had missions. We ended our day at Sweet Lou's on the waterfront in Coeur d'Alene, where the food and beer were so good. We'll tell you more about this beautiful public art and how this moose plays into a scavenger hunt in our next video. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out, and give us a thumbs up if you had fun today. Take care, safe travels, and we'll see you next time. But first, a moment of Zen.